Hello, Year 2 superheroes. Welcome to our English lesson for today. It is Tuesday, the 26th of January, and in today's lesson, we're going to be thinking about designing our own superhero. As always, let's warm up those writing brains. So, for our handwriting today, if you've got the worksheet with the handwriting strips on, amazing, you can do it on there. If you've not, don't panic, you can just do this on some paper. So just like yesterday, I've split the handwriting into two parts again because I really want us to keep practicing those spelling rules. Okay, so if you are in the spelling bees group, this is the word that I would like you guys to write today. It's the word temple. The temple, it can mean two things actually. It can mean a place of worship where you might go and worship a god in another religion. But a temple can also mean this part here. If you've got a headache, you might rub your temples. So that can mean two different things. And again, we're looking at that ul ending. So if you're in the spelling bees group, then you need to write this word temple 3 times. You've got the letter T that starts it off. It's a teenager, so it doesn't touch the top red line, but it sits below it. And then you've got the letter P is a descender and L is an ascender, so it touches the top red line. That's for the spelling bees. And if you're in the wise owls group, you're looking at the sound, whirl and twirl, and the word today is twirl. Okay, so similarly to the spelling bees, you've got the letter T to start it off, a teenager. Remember, doesn't touch the top red line, sits just below it, and then you've got the letter L that's an ascender, touches the top red. Okay, I'd like you to practice that word 3 times for me. Remember, if you're a spelling bee, you're going to write temple. If you're a wise owl, you're going to write twirl. 3 times, off you go. Your starter for today is this. So take a look at the picture on the screen, Batman, and I think that's somebody called Mr. Penguin. Maybe it's somebody else. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not so sure who the villain is that's fighting Batman on the screen there. Now, what I would like you guys to do is I'd like you to pause the video and look at the picture, and I'd like you to write me a 2A sentence about the picture. Now remember, a 2A sentence is where you use 2 adjectives to describe a thing, 2 adjectives to describe the noun. So you might put the tall, brave Batman is fighting the evil villain. And the 2 adjectives you've used to describe Batman would be tall and brave. So when we're writing a 2A sentence, we think of 2 adjectives to describe the thing, don't we? Tall, brave, Batman. Tall and brave are the 2 adjectives to describe Batman. Now you might want to use what I've just said, tall, brave, Batman, but instead of calling him tall and brave, you might want to swap those adjectives around for different ones. So pause the video, take a look at the picture. You might want a couple of minutes to really look at what's going on and what's happening. And I want a 2A sentence about the picture. You can do it on some scrap paper on the back of your worksheet, just to warm up our writing brains some more. Okay, I'm just going to recap what we are looking at this week, and I spoke about this in yesterday's lesson. So this week we're going to be writing a fact file about our own superhero, and yesterday we looked at a really good example of a fact file. We spoke about its features and we spoke about what was in it. Now remember, a fact file is a collection of information about something, so it's all pieces of information, lots of different pieces of information that have been put together about something. And in yesterday's lesson, this is what we looked at. This was a good one, and we spoke about the different features of a fact file. And we know that fact files are separated with subheadings. So when we looked at them yesterday, we looked at the first one, which was our introductory sentence, the first sentence that we read that makes us want to read on. We looked at history, the history of Spider-Man. We looked at his enemies. We thought about his superpowers. We thought about his weaknesses. And we also thought about the friends that he has as well. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be designing our superhero. And then over the course of this week, we're going to write these pieces of information all about him or her. Now, in today's lesson, probably what I'm most excited about, we're going to create our own superhero. So you need to start thinking about what your superhero looks like, what they wear, what type of person they are, who their enemies are. That's what we need to think about today. What will they look like? What are they like on the inside? Are they kind? Are they caring? Are they friendly? Are they smart? How did they become a superhero? So what actually happened to them that made them a superhero? So Spider-Man, he was bitten by a radioactive spider, and that's how he became Spider-Man. So you need to think about how your superhero became, who their enemies are, and what their weaknesses are, or maybe what their superpower is as well. Now, this is my superhero. Now, I haven't drawn this person. I kind of wish that I had because it's a pretty good drawing, but this is going to be my superhero. And I'm going to think about two important questions. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to think about what my superhero is like on the inside. And I'm also going to think, what are they like on the outside? So remember, we've done this quite a few times in the classroom where we've took a character, we've took a person, and we've spoke about what they look like on the outside, and then we've also spoke about what type of person they are on the inside. Now, I want you to pause the video here, and maybe on the back of your worksheet or on a bit of paper, I just want you to jot down a couple of ideas of what your superhero is like on the inside and outside. Okay, if you're working in school, maybe you could do this on a whiteboard. If you're working at home, you could just do it on some paper. Pause the video. What is your superhero like on the inside and the outside? Now, here are some of my ideas. On the outside, I want her to have blue hair because I think that would be quite cool. I want her to have purple X-ray glasses so she can see through buildings and things. I want her armbands that she wears on her arms to be lasers. So if she ever needs to open a door, she needs to cut out with a laser. I want that to be on her arms. And I want her shoes to stick to any surface. So she could even climb up a wall and her shoes would stick to it. So that's what my superhero is going to look like on the outside. Okay, you might want to pause the video now and maybe magpie some of my ideas. Maybe I've mentioned something that you haven't mentioned yet. And then on the inside, I've thought about the qualities that I want her to have. I want her to be brave, first of all. I want her to be strong, but I also want her to be kind as well, because I think kindness is so important. It's probably one of the most important qualities someone can have, to be kind. I want her to be wise, and that word, wise, is another way of saying that someone is clever. So I want her to have lots of knowledge in her mind. I want her to be patient because I think that's important too. And I also want her to be friendly. I want her to make lots of friends with whoever she comes into contact with. Pause the video here and maybe you want to magpie some of mine, or maybe whilst I was talking, you were thinking of another quality that you'd like your superhero to have. Now, this is our main activity for today. We are going to draw our superhero and then we're going to start adding some information about them. Now what I've done is I want to show you mine first. I want to model what mine's going to look like so that you can just get on with the worksheet. Now this is the first section. So I've put first, I'm going to look at this bit and I've made it nice and big on the screen so that I can model mine to you. My superhero is going to be called Victorious Violet. You might notice that I've used something in her name. I've used alliteration. So both of those words start with the letter V, don't they? I've used alliteration. So my superhero is called Victorious Violet and she wears an all purple outfit. She has blue hair and X-ray glasses because she uses X-ray vision. And she actually loves the colour purple as well. That's why she wears purple. That's why she's called Victorious Violet. So this would be something that you could write in your first part of your worksheet. Don't do it now because I want to model the whole worksheet to you and then you can get on with yours. Here's the next bit. So next I'm going to fill in this section underneath the picture. So his or her real name and what their main enemy is called. So her real name is Ellen Jones. She's got quite a plain name, and that's why she likes to be called Victorious Violet. And her enemy is actually called Dr. Shark because he's been causing destruction on Earth for many, many years, and that's why he is her main enemy. She needs to try and defeat him. So this is what I've put for my next part, and let's look at the final part together. So this is the final part, the special powers that your superhero has and who they live with. So for my special powers, I'm just going to make a list. You don't need to write this in full sentences. This is just to get our ideas out. So she has X-ray vision. She can shrink. She has super speed. She has an invisibility cloak. She has a time freezer, so she can freeze time. And the people that she lives with are her mum, her granddad, and her twin brothers. They are the people that she lives with. Okay, so those were just some ideas that I had. If you need to, you could go back through this video for some ideas if you're a little bit stuck maybe. But that's your worksheet, okay? So you've got space to draw your superhero. If you haven't got the worksheet, that's fine, because you could just draw your superhero on one piece of paper and label your superhero and then answer the questions on the worksheet. Okay, so I am going to say, I don't say this very often, but I am going to say that you can draw your superhero first. Usually we do the writing first, but I'm going to say in today's lesson, you can draw your superhero first because you need an idea of what they're going to look like before you start writing about them, I think. So draw your superhero, add some labels to your superhero, and then you can work your way through the rest of the worksheet. I am so excited to see what you come up with, because I know that our year 2 family are so creative that you're going to have some amazing ideas of what your superhero looks like. Okay, so remember, draw your superhero and then fill in the rest of that worksheet. Okay. Can't wait to see them all, and I'll see you very soon.